Welcome back to Ox Talks. So here at the doctor appointment with my mom, we had a 10:15 appointment. I checked in at about 10 minutes after 10, and we're advised that the wait is 2.5 to 3 hours. And mind you, this is for a eye doctor appointment. So this has happened several times with this. I don't know if you guys are seeing this kind of wait time with doctors. I don't, fortunately, I don't have to personally have much doctor stuff. Neither does the family, but my mom does. And I'll tell you, these wait times are getting insane. I don't know how you even, why even make an appointment? If you have an appointment time at 10:15 and the doctor, when you check in, tells you that it's going to be 2.5 to 3 hour wait, what does that mean? What's happening with the system? Well, we know the healthcare system is broken, but now we're talking about just the toll it takes. How about all these senior citizen patients that I just saw waiting, and they're all waiting for these wait times to see their doctor. So anyway, guys, I thought I would just jump on and cover another topic with you because I have some time and made some client calls at a couple of conferences and have some extra minutes here. So I wanted to share something else that's been on my mind that I alluded to on an earlier video today. So again, appreciate you guys tuning in. I just saw something quick on Zero Hedge about the price of houses and what the exponential increase you've seen since the late 80s. And in 1988, if you bought a house for $150,000, that same house today would be, hey Mark, how you doing? Would be over $707,000. Now, a mortgage back in 1988 was over 10%, but the mortgage payment would have been just over $1,000. You buy that same house today, the mortgage payment's sitting just over, well, excuse me, the interest rate's sitting just over 7%. That's if you qualify for a good credit, a good loan. But the mortgage payment is just under $4,000 a month. So you guys make heads or tails of that, but that's insane. Think about it. No wonder people can't afford, the dream of home ownership anymore. First-time home buyers, young home buyers. So that was just something I just happened to see on Zero Hedge. Something else, just quickly, evidently now Iran is coming out and saying that they've decided to step back from the ledge on attacking Israel. Let's see if it's more, just gamesmanship or what's going on. I see metals are under pressure. That will happen. If you get something coming out today where Iran commits that, they've been, let's say, persuaded by public persuasion or other government leaders to not attack Iran, you're going to see probably a pullback in the metals. FYI, not trading advice, not financial advice. Let me talk about a topic that I see come up in my practice all the time, and that is the people using unlicensed contractors to do projects around their home. Now, am I telling you to never use unlicensed people or handyman? No, I mean, we have a guy that does phenomenal work around our house from time to time with little projects, okay, fixing, we had him go through and all of our can lights, we had him replace about 100 and some odd can lights with those pre-done cans that are electric, and they cut down the bill. You don't have to replace light bulbs every week or 2 weeks. And we haven't fixed little things that happen around the place, gate breaks. We had a water leak inside under a bar area, and he replaced all the wood and cleaned it up. Did a phenomenal job. So I'm not saying, never consider using handyman, unlicensed people for little projects around your home or your business, things like that. But what I want to bring to your attention, and again, I see this all the time in my practice, on both sides, where I represented guys that are unlicensed and they're being sued by a client or a customer that they did work for, and the customer then alleges that the work was faulty or it was below the workmanship. Well, the workmanship was bad, or the quality of the materials used was subpar, and they're suing for damages, saying they had to go hire somebody else to do the job right, tear it all out. I also see clients come in and have problems with work that was done at their home or their business or their rental property. And Stephen, what? Oh, the go bag. Okay, yeah. I don't want to get. I'm not get sidetracked on the comments right now. I apologize. I want to focus on this topic. But yes, I appreciate that, and you're right. We did do. I think for up at the shooting range, I went through a go bag, and I think the one on my channel I did was a 3-day bag. So I am going to do that. I'll do it on a live stream, probably one of these weekends. I'll lay out the get home bag, the go bag again, and go through that for sure for you guys. Okay, but I appreciate you watching, Stephen. Thanks. So going back to this, so I have clients come in as well that say, look, I had a contractor, someone who either said they were licensed and misrepresented that, or said they weren't licensed, and the homeowner decided to take the risk and hire that person for a home improvement project or what have you. And of course, things went bad. The work wasn't finished, or it wasn't finished correctly, or substandard materials were used, and the client wants to know what their rights and remedies are. So the first thing I do, guys, if I'm looking at this thing from a client perspective or even a contractor perspective, is I will pull up in California through the California Contractors License Board and see if this person or their operation is a licensed contractor. And if they are a licensed contractor in California, and I guess every state probably is different, but in California, in order to be a licensed contractor and get your license, you also have to post a surety bond. And that amount now is $25,000. In order for the license board to issue you a license, the contractor has to place what's basically an insurance policy with the licensing board using one of any number of surety companies that write the policies in California. And no problem, Stephen. It's fine. I wanted to catch it, let you know I will do that. But so we have a surety company which acts as an insurance company if a claim is made against that contractor or against that contractor's company for negligent workmanship, faulty workmanship, things like abandoning a job, not finishing the job, things like that. If that person is not licensed, they don't have to post. They don't post that bond. They're not licensed. A lot of people, because it's expensive, you have to then get workers' comp insurance and all that kind of stuff. It's more expensive to do it the right way, okay? To be licensed, you have to go through the licensing process, you have to pay fees, you have to take the test, you have to jump through those hoops, and then of course the bond. But that is meant to protect the consumer. A lot of people don't want to do that. I understand. Does that mean that they're not offering great services? No, but sometimes things happen where it goes wrong, and I'll tell you, there is not as much recourse for a consumer against an unlicensed contractor. Let me share with you a law in the books in California. It's under the California Business Professions Code. And it might be corporations code. I'll have to check that. But basically the law is very clear. It says if you are operating, doing work for which a license is required in California, any kind of construction service work, all right, home improvement, whatever it is, and you're not licensed, the person that you provided the work for has the ability to sue you to seek, number one, they don't have to pay you what you claim you're owed, Mr. and Mrs. Contractor, but secondly, they can sue for recovery of all monies paid. And let's even say that you do the job perfectly. Everything is great, no complaints, the workmanship was excellent, the quality of the materials you used was excellent, and guess what? 2 years later, that homeowner, or a year later, that homeowner, there's no statute of limitations, but the homeowner gets word that you were not licensed, they can sue you to get you to repay every single dime plus interest that you receive from them, plus attorney's fees. So I hope if you're in California, operating as an unlicensed contractor, keep that in mind, because look, that's a situation where consumers will abuse, from my perspective, will abuse the statute, okay? So looking at this from two different perspectives, the contractor's perspective or the worker's perspective, and the consumer, the homeowner, the building owner's perspective, okay? So I want you guys to be careful with this. If you're a contractor and you're not gonna jump through the hoops and do it the right way, there's your pitfalls, all right? And they can be substantial and there's very little defense as a contractor. If you're not licensed, it's a matter of public record. If you're not licensed, you're susceptible. If you're a consumer, just be careful on larger projects or anything that's substantial at your house, your rental units, your buildings, your businesses. You need to do your due diligence before you use a contractor. You can go on your state's licensing board and check status. They make it very easy for consumers to get information. So do some homework, guys, on this. And I tie it into what's happening today with the Home Depot news and what happened yesterday with lumber liquidators filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And we've seen the downfall of other suppliers, material suppliers, in the last few months as well. So Home Depot guided much lower today because there's a weak consumer. We know that. But this does tie into the perspective of this home improvement and projects and what you're doing. All right. A lot of the people we know have suffered the lock-in effect because you're never going to trade out your 3% 30-year fixed mortgage for a 7.5% 30-year fixed mortgage, or an even higher percentage rate mortgage for a 5-year adjustable rate or whatever. You wouldn't do it. So you're stuck, right? And so the natural inclination is, well, let's fix up the house, assuming you have the funds, the resources to do it. A lot of people try to cut corners because you'll have a contractor come in who's not licensed and say, look, I'll underbid this, I'll do it for cheaper. And it's let's say there's a susceptibility there, right? Because people want to get something for less. But I will tell you this, I often tell clients when they come in my door, you get what you pay for sometimes, all right? And if you choose to take the risk of hiring somebody who's not licensed, you're going to lose the ability to have that bond in place in California, the surety, as a backup. And I will tell you, as a lawyer who does file cases for clients against contractors, I also represent contractors and developers, so I do both. But I will tell you, the first thing I do is I sue the bond company, and many times, let's say most of the time, the bond company, if they think the claim is legitimate, they will just kick in that bond. They'll immediately just tender the $25,000. Sometimes they'll interplead it into the court, let the parties fight over it. A lot of times they'll just send me the check directly for my client. And guess what? You got $25,000 now. That's the life of the bond. So if there are other claims against the bond, if it's reduced the bond amount, you got to look into that. But keep in mind, it's a very, very, very helpful tool, and it means a lot for a consumer that gets screwed. And there are bad apples out there, okay? There are guys that are doing shoddy work, that are not licensed, and they're just trying to make a quick buck. They abandon the job a lot, they don't finish the work, and they leave people in a lurch. And a lot of people I've seen lose all their savings, paying these guys to do work that was terrible work, and they're being taken advantage of. So again, kind of to build on this morning's theme a little bit about small claims, and that one comment that I got from a viewer about the faulty flooring that was obtained from the lumber liquidators that we now know is being liquidated in bankruptcy. So just a bit of a side track or tangent here on licensed versus unlicensed contractors. And again, I might probably get some hate from saying, well, you're beating up on unlicensed contractors. I'm not. Again, I've got a friend of mine, a guy that we use all the time, but not for big projects, okay? All right, I'm going a little bit long, 13 and a half minutes, but sitting here for a 2.5 hour wait while my mom gets in to see for an eye checkup. Okay, it's not a heart surgery or a major issue, and that's what I'm doing here right now. So I wanted to share that with you, and we're going to start doing that a lot more throughout the coming weeks and months. It's getting you guys educated on some of this stuff. I'm not speaking directly and giving you legal advice. I can't do that, obviously. Every situation is different. Every state has different rules and different laws. But I pretty much guarantee every state has contractor licensing requirements. And that goes for general contractors, it goes for glazing guys, glass guys, paint contractors, roofing contractors, flooring contractors, electricians, whatever it is, okay? There are licensing rules. So don't be a victim if you're out there looking to bring someone to do a project, okay? And I've seen situations where it become nightmares, where your house gets torn up. Sometimes you're even displaced from your house while this work gets done, and the work gets abandoned. These guys are, some of them are fly by night. They don't finish the work. So use some caution, all right? And with that, I'll leave it there for on that topic, and I'll be checking back in as more stuff comes to my mind, and keep you guys on top of this stuff. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.